Hello and welcome, it's Debs here, talking about simple and practical spirituality. One of the things I love to do is answer your questions. And the other day I was asked a question by someone. A little while ago I wrote a book, and this person said in the book they were reading about each one of us being a unique and individual expression of the divine, and reading about the oneness of life, the fact that there is only one thing going on here. And they were like, how can those things possibly both be true? And also, how is knowing those things, how is that helpful to have a better experience of life? Because that's what this is all about. And that, if I'm honest, is what a spiritual exploration of life is. It is about seeing how knowing ourselves on a deeper level, how does that help our moment to moment, day to day, in the practical world when we're being human, how does it help to know these things? So basically, life is incredibly paradoxical, and I'm going to ask you not to take my word for this, to play in this arena yourself and see what you get, see what your lived experience tells you, because that is the most precious thing you have, your own experience. So one of the things that is a very, very everyday thing that all of us see all the time, and yet is a complete paradox, is the fact that we talk about the sun rising and the sun setting, and yet all of us, or certainly any of us that are old enough to have been to school and learned about what's going on in our solar system and the planets, all of us know that the sun doesn't rise and set. The earth is moving, the earth is orbiting the sun. So we get an experience of a sun that rises and a sun that sets, and yet that is not what is going on. So if you were to make calculations on the assumption that the sun is rising and setting, you would be basing those calculations on a misunderstanding, and they would go awry at some point. And so this is the same thing about life. We have an experience of being unique, separate beings, and we can enjoy that experience. We can lean into and have a great experience of that. But if we are making our calculations on the fact that you and I are entirely separate beings, that there is nothing that connects us, then we are basing our calculations on a misunderstanding, and we are going to end up hurting ourselves by making the calculations. Things are going to go awry if we make our calculations in that way. And as I said earlier, one of the things that I absolutely invite you to do is play with this. And to me, this is what a deeper understanding of my spiritual nature is. Because what I see is when I have thoughts against other people, when I disagree with what other people say in a very, in a way that makes me believe that they should be different, and I take against them, when I take against anything in this life, anything that I am holding myself and taking against, at some point I'm going to be holding that against myself. That's where it's going to end up being, which is why the world that we live in is in such a terrible mess, because there is so much there are so many people in this world that deeply believe that we are separate individuals, and we need to fight for ourselves and what we believe. We need to fight against other people or other things. We need to change things. Things need to be the way we think they should be, the way that we see things. We don't realise that actually looking towards the wholeness, looking towards love, looking towards working together is a much more workable way of being in the world, which will create our own inner peace. It will be like we will be headed in the right direction if we do that. So the reason that it is incredibly helpful to know that although we have a real lived and felt experience of being an individual, being somebody who is not connected in any way to many things and other people, although that can be our experience, when we play around with the idea of oneness, when we go inside and realize that our spiritual nature, what happens inside of us, the experience we have of our thinking, the experience we have of our feelings and our emotions, that's where our experience, our true experience, is created. And when we have loving thoughts and loving feelings towards each other, when we start to listen to our inner dialogue and realize that when it is judgmental and cutting and unkind, whether that is to ourselves or whether that is to other people, we are headed in the wrong direction. We are headed into trouble. And yet, when we begin to learn about the states of mind that we can come from, when we see that it is always possible for us to learn to lean into and come from love, we will have an entirely different experience. So I hope there was something useful for there. Thank you very much for listening to the end. If you enjoy my videos, do give them a like. If you have any questions or comments, do drop them below. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye for now.